I told you we'll be doing the newspapers. We're ready. We'll also do myjoyonline.com. Get to the homepage and see the published stories there. Well, look, it's the best portal for you. Aggregation of stories, all from the multimedia platform. JoyNews, we have Prime and all of them. But Mama V is ready. Kojo Jansen is also streaming in, so it's a packed screen for you.
I want to ask you on behalf of our viewers, what do you drink or eat, before the show starts?
Water.
Okay. All right. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the news review segment. No, the newspaper review. We will do the online as well. So let's begin. Hello, Kojo. Are you there? Our colleague Kojo Jansen.
Yeah, I'm here, Mama Vizi. Kojo, what's up?
That's a borrowed voice.
Mama Vizi.
Oh,
I'm here, Mama Vizi.
We're on our way there. The voice is from way this morning.
He's trying to sound like you.
I can't hear myself. You can hear me though.
No, don't worry about yourself. You're fine. Just hear us.
All right, that's all that matters.
Okay, but listen, we missed the morning message. What happened?
I know, right? Well, when I woke up, it's weird. I don't know if you can still see it, but I had a funny swelling under my eye.
Oh, it looks okay.
I didn't want to share it with you. Yeah, I didn't want to share it with you, so I had to medicate it very quickly. It's an allergy, so it's going down as we speak.
Why you choose some pork?
Doesn't look right yet, but it's going down.
Yeah.
You choose some pork or mushrooms, or ate some mushrooms.
My allergies are atmospheric, so pollen, dust, that sort of thing.
Master, you are home. You are home.
I didn't know that apparently you have friends at NASA. We don't have a space agency. I didn't know you have friends at NASA. So Apollo affects you.
All right, man. Now that you're here, let's do the newspaper.
Let me put something. So, Kojo, we have the Ghanaian Times. You do the Ghanaian Times and then the Daily Guide.
All right.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
I'll stick with the Daily Graphic newspaper. So let me go first, gentlemen. Let's look at what's on the front page of the paper by way of headlines. Economy grows, expands from 300 billion Ghana cedis in 2018 to 349 billion Ghana cedis in 2019. There's Professor Samuel Kwabena Enim, who's a government statistician, who says that Ghana has maintained its position as the second biggest economy in West Africa after Nigeria. Well, there's details of that a bit later on we could share. Ghana on course to hit 100,000 COVID-19 tests soon. This is coming out of that press briefing yesterday with a picture of Professor William Ampofu, who is head of virology at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. He's on our show this morning. COVID-19 prevention directives enhanced, according to Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. Companies ready to deliver PPE mid-May, attributed to some managers. That story is on page 11 in the center spread. Islamic Christian leaders support ban on religious gatherings. Also, religious traditional leaders assets in fights against COVID-19, according to an Afrobarometer report. Still on COVID-19, National Trust Fund commences distribution to health institutions. On the back page, Ghana fields supports. Did I say Ghana? It's Goldfields. Apologies, there's Goldfield supports Takwa municipality to combat COVID-19. Bank of Africa Ghana supports COVID-19 fight. So paper full of stories of corporate entities supporting the fight against COVID-19. That'll be it, guys.
Yeah, Kojo, you're on.
I think you should go first, Roland. I'm having a bit of a technical issue here with my tablet, so you go next.
Okay, so I'll do the new Crusading Guide. Has on the front page, Chief Imam lauds government for lifting lockdown. And I have to announce this, as we start the Ramadan, myself and my Muslim brothers and sisters, especially those of us living in Ashaiman, my home town, please, I know that we're all going to adhere to all the related guidelines, but I also have to announce that the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Dr. Nuhu Sharubutu, is 101 years today. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to him. I'm hoping that my producer will allow us to play one of those Sami Yusuf songs for him.
Roland, you know, live is always better than, like, playbacks and miming, so you get ready to sing. That would be a wonderful birthday present.
I can sing.
Yeah.
Well, so the story captured on the front page of the New Crusading Guide states, Chief Imam, who is 101 years today, lauds government for lifting lockdown. Yeah, many people needed it. You can argue about the decision, etc., but it is what it is. Elsewhere in Turkey, they have just started a 4-day lockdown as well, so speaks volumes about how the world is reeling from coronavirus. The Ghana Health Service reported test result not duplicates. Noguchi, I'm talking about Noguchi. Jackson's having an interaction with Professor Ampofo. He's head virology, the department there, going to give us all the comprehensive explanation, the test kits, where they're coming from, do we have enough, all those questions being posed to them this morning. Other stories on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Government allays fears over efficiency of Unipass. Says new system has proven track record. Okay. We have COVID-19. Ghana will not record 3 million cases, Dr. Nsia Sari to WHO 3 days ago. I was in a studio and said something, and yesterday it was clarified. It was an explanation to what he said the night before.
He did attribution.
Yeah, World Health Organization and what they... Okay, so we have all those on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Kojo, you ready now?
I should be.
Okay.
I've got a freezing tablet that is making life difficult.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. What type is it? Is it an Apple? Apple doesn't freeze.
It's not Apple.
It's not.
Don't put somebody's
very
company
much
into trouble.
unlike you.
All right. Okay. So I'm doing the Ghanaian Times, right? And what's the other one?
The other one is the Daily Guide.
Okay, so banner headline on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, decision based on science, says the president. Of course, this is the decision to lift the lockdown. COVID-19 National Trust Fund bags 34 million Ghana cedis, and Dr. Nsia Sari dismisses fears about 15,000 projected COVID-19 deaths. We talked about how that was a clarification. Confirmed COVID-19 cases hit 1,154, and some great news, 120 recover. I've also got the Dispatch. Is that the other paper you wanted me to do?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, banner headline this morning in the Dispatch. Your bold decisions have led to Ghana's low COVID-19 infection rate. This is the president of the National House of Chiefs, Toby Afoda, saying this to the president. And indeed, many of the president's decisions have been bold. Social distancing, key to ending COVID-19 pandemic. What can a district office of NCCE do with 100 Ghana cedis a month? This is something that I think, guys, we need to make some time to talk about. How successive governments have been starving NCCE. I think is deliberate. They want an ignorant population. But anyway, we should talk about it one day. And that does it for me.
Okay.
Well, we have to do Daily Guide, and Daily Guide is one of the papers remaining as well. Has on the front page, 120 recover from COVID-19 cases, hit total figures for Ghana, 1,154 Muslims, Christians support Nana, and then we have QIFS FDA fight rages. QIFS. U.S. military deal ruling adjourned, and fetish priest kills twin brother. Okay. On the back page, it's still about related issues of football. And Chelsea, Coutinho. Coutinho was at Liverpool, decided to go join Barcelona, went to Bayern Munich, now wants to come back to England, Chelsea. He is a Brazilian, very good player, I have to admit. KP Boateng hails Balotelli potential. Potential? Well, he's already old. Yeah. Okay.
That's potential is not just about age, Anna.
Well, in football, your age is numbered. Football age is usually numbered in terms of your efficiency. But if you want,
and I said potentials, maybe he has the potential to be a Roger Miller.
I agree on that score. Or even is it that gentleman who keeps playing? Ibrahimovic still plays at an old age. Ronaldo. All right. Zlatan. All right. So what do we want to take a look at?
Well, the president says his decision is based on science. I was hoping I could open up that story and read the contents to you.
Okay, Kojo, let's do myjournline.com, then we'll do that one quickly. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So let's go through myjournline.com then. Let's use a minute.
Yeah.
Mama V.
Okay, here we go. On myjournline.com this day, leadership experts praise Akufo-Addo's handling of coronavirus in Ghana. First man to test positive for coronavirus in the Upper West region recovers. IGP orders 10,000 police officers to test for COVID-19. Negotiate records positive COVID-19 cases every day, according to senior research fellow. KNUST develops low-cost ventilator to support COVID-19 care and management. Ghana's COVID-19 cases increased by 102 or 112 to 1,154. Coronavirus pandemic will cause global famines of biblical proportions. The UN is warning. Essentially, the UN says famine could take hold in about 36 countries in a worst-case scenario. That's according to the executive director of the World Food Programme. He said in a stack address on Tuesday, 10 of those countries already have more than 1 million people on the verge of starvation, he said. So you can click on the story and read a lot more. Anti-Graft Coalition calls for transparency in management of COVID-19 National Trust Fund. Still on coronavirus, it could potentially infect 3 million Ghanaians. President's advisor on health, except he was actually also re-echoing something that he attributes to the World Health Organization. And if you miss any of our content in terms of the videos, you can catch up. Let's go to the BBC. Let's see what's happening on the BBC real quick by way of international news. One of the stories making headlines, actually, Trump signing an order on immigration green card suspension. But this one says Africa. No, this is the Africa story. Tanzania won on false hopes in COVID-19 fight. Plenty other stories on the page. Why some Nigerians where are we? Gloating about coronavirus. Well, some people still think it's rich people's disease. People who traveled and returned into Nigeria and had contact with those they came into contact with whilst in Nigeria. So it's a very expensive disease. People still have that notion that it won't affect poor people or infect poor people. Frontline Egyptian doctor in UK fears for family if he dies. Caution urged over Madagascar coronavirus cure. But I wanted to talk about President Trump. He signed an executive order to temporarily suspend the approval of some green cards. But this is at a time when you know, the consulates are not working, right? I mean, nobody's traveling anywhere. Nobody's asking for visa anywhere. Some people have said this is just like some kind of tactics to get people's minds off coronavirus. China extends run of no recorded virus deaths. One other headline has to do with South Africa and the number of troops they've deployed to ensure the lockdown. 70,000, it's actually over 70,000 troops to enforce the lockdown. You know, they have an extension, ends Thursday, 30th April, so ending of April is the lockdown. And this is tighter. You can't take your dogs out to walk, you can't jog, no alcohol, a lot of no-no-nos in South Africa. Kojo, there's a story that you are looking for, you're set now?
No. Okay. I need to be able to read the text of the story, but it hasn't been sent to me. So, but it's really what the president was saying about how his decision was based on science. I would have liked to be able to pick from the story which science. the president is referring to, because you notice that when Dr. Nsiah-Sarah spoke to Evans, he kept insisting that the science was social science, and that is also science, you know, kind of like how home science is also science. So, you know, Dr. Nsiah-Sarah was suggesting that perhaps it's not the kind of science that we are thinking about. Perhaps it wasn't based on things like statistics or epidemiology, which is the science which governs the decisions that authorities are making around the world about this disease.
So let's see if I can help.
Epidemiology in particular. Sorry, you were saying.
Just let's see if I can help with a bit of details of this particular story you're talking about. It's in the Ghanaian Times, page 12. Fast forward to where they talk about the president. It says President Akufo-Addo on his part explained the reasons behind his decision to lift the partial lockdown, noting that the decision is driven by science. He thanked the chief imam and said the Muslim, okay, so he doesn't talk about the science necessarily. The president said the live broadcast, okay, so just responding to the request of the chief imam. Not explaining according to the story. I didn't see it, Kojo.
That's interesting, because, you see, I would like to know what the science is. It's important for us to understand. If the president says it was science that determined his decision, not economics, if it was, you know, the disease and, you know, the science of the disease, then we would love to know what the explanation is. Why is it that when we had 59 cases and we went on a lockdown, but now that we have at the time he lifted the lockdown, we had 1,042 cases. So what is it that made Ghana safer for us to walk around in at the time we had 1,042 cases compared to the time we had 59 cases? What science?
Well, maybe Kojo, fortunately,
about, you know, at the time.
Fortunately, we've got the head of biology at Noguchi. Perhaps you could put that to him. We've got a minute to wrap up, maybe less. So we've got to go now. All right, Roland, anything you want to say in about 30 seconds before we go?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
All right, stay with us. We've got sports coming your way. Roger Federer making headlines, talking about bringing the women's and the men's game together. Lots of ideas when there's nothing really to do in terms of playing tennis. Benedict has got all those conversations coming up. Stay with us.